Hello everyone.
That's a bit feeble.
It is, isn't it? Firstly, I'd like to reiterate the words of Mark and thank you all for being here today. Not only for the sentimental and heartfelt reasons he alluded to a minute ago, but because I've waited the best part of 2 decades to embarrass him in front of his friends and very recent in-laws. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark's more intelligent, more attractive and much funnier younger brother. For those of you who do know me, I can only apologise for the amount of rom-com quotes that have made their way into the remainder of this speech. Well, what can I say? I'm also just a boy, standing in front of a crowd, asking for some cheap. Although Nikki has informed me that looking after the rings was my most important job today, I think we all know that my most important job is to make Mark sweat for this particular 5 minutes of his day. Now obviously I would hate to do this to my brother, so I've actually chosen to talk about some positive personal traits people believe he possesses. Unfortunately for him, with sarcasm, humour and irony, I'm then going to share with you all stories about times Mark's failed to show any of them. So, very difficultly, where do I start? I think firstly, intelligence. Some of you in the room may think Mark's a fairly intelligent kind of guy. I once thought this too. This was until one time, as a joke, Mark thought it would be funny to ask me what the capital of Thailand was, with the intention of me answering Bangkok, giving him permission to punch me in the testicles. Unfortunately for Mark, what he actually asked me is what the capital of China was, giving me permission to educate him and inform him that Beijing was the capital of China. Perhaps he should buy a map. Another prime example of Mark making a fool out of himself was a Christmas a few years back. We were playing a game in which you had to describe a famous person or celebrity and everyone else had to guess who they were. If I remember rightly, I believe Mark thought Oscar Wilde was a famous artist, Martin Luther King was a well-renowned singer, and Khan was an animated character. Thankfully, Mark didn't have to describe Italian dictator Mussolini, as I believe Mark would have thought he was a kind of pasta. This alongside the time, during a game of charades, Mark insisted the word patient had 3 syllables, shows why maybe he wouldn't be the first pick on your quiz night team. But I think intelligence shows itself in different forms, educational sense and common sense. Although Mark's evidently lacking in the first area, there's no doubt in his common sense. When we were younger, we'd play cricket in the garden with the rules, bat till you're out. At the time, this sounded great to me. This is until over after over, an hour after hour would pass, with Mark building an innings only the great Geoffrey Boycott would be proud of. After much complaining from myself, I finally bowled that one magic ball that spits, turns and beats them all ends up. We'd swap bat for ball, Mark would bowl one delivery, get me out, and run back inside and sit in front of the TV before I can even say Shiv Narayan Chandapal. Therefore I think he should thank me for every run he's ever scored. When Mark lived at home, he used to refer to me as Lurch, alluding to the character from the famous sitcom The Royal Family. This was because, just like Lurch, Mark would ask me anything and I'd go off and do it for him. Whether it was a glass of orange squash or an ice cream from the freezer, I was his skivvy. In hindsight, this is probably a good thing, and maybe why one of us has run a half marathon and the other one struggles to run a quick single. One quality Mark will always possess is the ability to keep conversation flowing in any situation to avoid any awkward silences. You should know though that this is not due to his riveting conversation, but due to the fact he talks at a decibel level that can be heard all the way from Amesbury to Aberdeen. By the way, that's in Scotland. I remember once when I was younger, walking around Woolworths with Mum. She turns to me and goes, "Did you just hear Mark?" Next thing you know, right at the other end of the store, Mark appears around the corner with a couple of his mates. Not only is it not a shock that we could hear Mark, it's also not a shock he appeared from the pick and mix section. I guess you could say, nobody puts Gurdy in a corner. As I look around the room, telling these stories, I can see the Giles contingent are beginning to look a little bit worried. So I think I better get serious for just 1 minute. Most youngsters idolise sports stars, movie stars or pop stars. When I was younger, I just wanted to grow up to be like my big brother. And part of me, don't worry, only a very small part, still feels that way today. Whenever I've been having troubles, whether it be girl troubles, playground squabbles, or just generally me being a soppy git, Mark's always been the person I've turned to for a shoulder to cry on and the words of wisdom to send me back on my way. A simple man once said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, I can assure Nikki, I know exactly what she's going to get from this day onwards. A loving, caring, funny husband who'll do anything for her. On that note, I'd like to welcome Nikki to the Gurd family. I always thought, what with Mark being the less attractive brother, he struggled to find a lovely girl to settle down with. But thankfully, I can safely say he's managed to punch above his weight. I wasn't rude, by the way. So this is the part of my speech where wedding etiquette, according to Google, requires me to make a few toasts. So firstly, to the parents. I'm sure 4 of you today must be very proud. And I'm just pleased myself and Nikki's brother Mark didn't let you down. So may I raise a toast to the parents. Secondly, to the bridesmaids. If today I am the handsome Prince Harry to my slightly balding older brother Prince William, I can safely say that the bridesmaids are the elegant Pippers to the wonderful Kate. So may I raise a toast to the bridesmaids. And also on that now, I want to say well done to Leighton. I thought I was going to be the cutest one dressed like this today. And now to my final toast. When I was originally thinking about how I could make this particular toast funny, I came up with a joke, talking about how, although you'd have many happy years together, you'd have a massive argument tonight about the fact Mark bottled the musical speech, as made famous by Tom Fletcher from McFly. But then I thought to myself, do I really want my brother and my sister-in-law arguing on their wedding night? So Mark, for your toast, I'm going to take one for the team.
Good work, Scotty! Scotty!
Mark and Nikki, this is for you. Everyone else, I actually can't sing, so I apologise. Right. I've been practicing for 2 days, because I've been with him as well, so bear with me. Love, it will not betray you, dismay or enslave you. It was said, you free, be more than the goods that you were made to be.
Come on, Scotty!
Love is a design, an alignment, a cry in your heart's way. See the beauty of love as it was made to be. Love, it will not betray you, dismay or enslave you. It will set you free, so let's raise a glass to both Mark and Nick.
Yeah! Yes, Scotty! Yes, Scotty!
It's all from me, mine's a pint.